What's up, everyone, and welcome to your Wednesday's edition of Reptile News. Now, you know, we talk about, or we aim to talk about, quite a few things on this channel. I try to pick at least 4, 5, 6 news stories a day that I want to talk about, and a lot of times we don't get to them because we go off on some of these tangents. And today is one of those days I'm not sure we're going to get to them, but we are going to start off today in Cleveland, and we're talking today about some stuff that we usually don't talk about, so it's kind of weird. So anyway, Morgan Kinder, if that rings a bell. Apparently this stems from an investigation that started back in February to a dog training business that her husband owned, who last month, I gotta say tragically, because I don't believe anybody deserves this fate, so I'm going to use the word tragically regardless of your crimes. He took his own life before he answered to the charges, but now his wife is answering to some animal cruelty charges due to some dead snakes and a dead lizard that they found in her home during a search of the home. And you know, like I said, I don't feel like anybody deserves that kind of fate, and I don't know what could ever get so bad to make somebody want to do something like that. And I should add right now that, you know what, I'm going to, okay, this is kind of off the wall from what I usually do, but I'm going to put a number right here. If you are having a hard time and thinking about that, regardless of what situation you're in, call the number. Just do it. Trust me, it'll help you. And now we're going to move on to a story that this is such a rough one for me to talk about, and that is the Miami Marlins have apologized after blaming the Tampa Bay Rays for Steve Irwin's death. And I'll put the, somewhere on one of these sides, I'll put the actual tweet there that said, "You're literally the animal that killed Steve Irwin. Log off." Now, I heard about this yesterday, I think, or the day before, which was August 4th, or the day before that. Anyway, I heard about it the day that happened, and I really ignored it. At first, I really did ignore it because somebody said something who had some kind of a following, and it disturbed people, and people went crazy. And then I really got to thinking about it, and I'm going to tell you right now. Those of you that know me, I don't have to say anything about this because you know. But I do what I do here. I mean, crocodile hunter Steve Irwin is who you have to thank for my ugly face being in front of you so much. He is what, I mean, I had an interest in reptiles before I ever watched him, but he is the person that really just did it for me. And I did take his death for somebody I've never met before, just somebody, I felt like I knew him because I watched him on TV all the time. I did take his death reasonably hard when it happened. Yeah, it was kind of a weird feeling to grieve so much for somebody you didn't know, but at the same time, I have to sit here and think it's, you know, and the Miami Marlins, they did apologize for what they said, and I do believe that their tweet was in bad taste. It really was, guys. I'm not going to lie there. I do believe it was in bad taste. But what gets me about this story is how just brutal the internet gets when something like this happens. And I know that 99.9% of the negativity that we have on the internet, not just in our little clique, in our little hobby, but worldwide, most of the people that say these things, they would never speak to you or anybody like that face to face. They're just keyboard commandos. It's what they do. They get empowered by it or something, and I just find it funny the way things work. But I mean, the long or the short of the story is the tweet was in very bad taste. They have, however, apologized for it, and I'm just gonna say move on. Let's move on from there. Let's move on. What else do we have to talk about? But another story, that kind of stuff I don't ever cover, and this is another rough one for me. So an investigation was started into a Mumbai resident, a 47-year-old Mumbai resident, and I don't think we've ever talked about Mumbai. Am I pronouncing that right? Mumbai? Is that? Somebody let me know in the comments down below. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that properly, but I don't know. Anyway, he had left for work one morning, June 17th, saying he was going out for work, and he never returned. They later found his body in a gorge, and as it turns out, he was killed for, I guess, for ripping someone off in a smuggled snake sale scheme. Apparently he was involved in smuggling a red sand boa and selling it, and the seller, for whatever reason, I don't know the whole story here. You know, when you read some of these overseas news stories, sometimes it's very, very difficult to try to make heads or tails of what actually happened, but apparently he was involved in smuggling this red sand boa, and something happened in the exchange where I'm guessing he took the money and didn't deliver the animal, and later on the prospective buyer, along with some friends, hunted him down and beat him to death. You know, and and this is why it's so hard for me, is I have no compassion for animal smugglers. I really don't. I really don't. But at the same time, I am not going to go so far as to say that somebody deserves to die for something like that. It seems, and especially in our, I don't know, I don't want to go off topic really, but in our country right now, with what we got going on, with people just dying for no reason, because of their color or their religious beliefs, and not only, I'm sure in other countries that's a lot worse, but I can just speak about what I know of here. It just seems like there's very few things you can do to deserve to die for it. Answer for your crimes, absolutely, but die for them, it's just, it's a really tough call for me, and it's very unfortunate, because now there's a family grieving because their relative in some sense decided to make a bad decision and ended up paying for it, unfortunately, with his life. And I'm actually going to leave that as today's question. What do you guys think? I mean, what do you guys think about, do you guys think smugglers deserve to die for, or anybody that rips people off or something? It's just, I mean, I know it's kind of a broad topic to talk about, but I'd like to get a conversation going in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this particular topic. And now we're going to move on to Gardner, Kansas, which I really loved this story. See, apparently a lady had pulled up to a gas pump and found a snake. I'm going to put it somewhere here, guys. I don't know where, but I'm kind of excited about the story. Found a snake in the touchscreen to the gas pump. Very short story here. She ended up hesitantly, is that a word, hesitantly? Filling up her tank, and she also reported the snake to the gas station attendant, who later removed it and presumably released it. They didn't say that, but they showed a picture of the guy holding the what they're calling a garden snake in his hand, and presumably it was released. I'm using a new editing software. I have actually upgraded it. I was using version 11 all these years. I went from 9, 10, 11, and now I'm trying 16. It's totally different. In fact, the whole company acquired the software, so it's totally different. I'm hoping it's gonna help in improving some of my poor editing skills. I'm hoping, but I'm hoping it's not gonna take too long to learn, because it's getting late. I gotta edit this to get out, and yeah, hopefully. So if there's any errors in it, I apologize. If it ends up being too big of a deal, I'm just gonna go back to the old stuff while I learn the new stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's where we're at with that. And that, my friends, has been all your news for this Wednesday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Friday.